According to Americanbank's, UBS Group AG decreased its holdings in shares of Intellia Therapeutics, Inc. NASDAQ, NOLA free report by 8.1% in the third quarter, holdingschannel.com reports. The firm owned 124,007 shares of the company's stock after selling 10,862 shares during the period. UBS Group AG's holdings in Intellia Therapeutics were worth $3,921,000 as of its most recent SEC filing. Several other large investors have also added to or reduced their stakes in NOLA. Morgan Stanley boosted its holdings in Intellia Therapeutics by 64.5% during the fourth quarter. Morgan Stanley now owns 2,518,150 shares of the company's stock worth $87,858,000 after purchasing an additional 987,599 shares during the last quarter. Norges Bank acquired a new position in Intellia Therapeutics during the fourth quarter worth $29,910,000. State Street Corp boosted its holdings in Intellia Therapeutics by 31.1% during the second quarter. State Street Corp now owns 3,143,811 shares of the company's stock worth $162,724,000 after purchasing an additional 746,284 shares during the last quarter. BlackRock Inc. boosted its holdings in Intellia Therapeutics by 9.6% during the second quarter. BlackRock Inc. now owns 8,054,963 shares of the company's stock worth $328,481,000 after purchasing an additional 706,344 shares during the last quarter. Finally, Bank of America Corp. D boosted its holdings in Intellia Therapeutics by 95.0% during the first quarter. Bank of America Corp. D now owns 1,341,093 shares of the company's stock worth $49,983,000 after purchasing an additional 653,308 shares during the last quarter. Institutional investors and hedge funds own 87.72% of the company's stock. Intellia Therapeutics price performance shares of Intellia Therapeutics stock opened at $32.66 on Friday. Intellia Therapeutics, Inc. has a 52-week low of $22.67 and a 52-week high of $47.48. The firm has a market capitalization of $3.14 billion, a PE ratio of -6.04 and a beta of 1.74. The company's 50-day moving average price is $27.97 and its 200-day moving average price is $30.18. Intellia Therapeutics NASDAQ NOLA Get-Free report last announced its quarterly earnings results on Thursday, February 22. The company reported $1.46 earnings per share EPS for the quarter, beating the consensus estimate of $1.47 by $0.01. Intellia Therapeutics had a negative net margin of 893.34% and a negative return on equity of 43.91%. The firm had revenue of $192 million during the quarter, compared to analysts' expectations of $15.1 million. During the same period in the prior year, the company posted $1.40 EPS. On average, analysts expect that Intellia Therapeutics, Inc. will post -5.57 earnings per share for the current year. Insider buying and selling at Intellia Therapeutics. In other Intellia Therapeutics news, EVP David Lebwohl sold 5,843 shares of the company's stock in a transaction that occurred on Wednesday, January 3. The shares were sold at an average price of $29.46 for a total value of $172,134.78. Following the completion of the transaction, the executive vice president now directly owns 54,372 shares in the company, valued at approximately $1,601,799.12. The sale was disclosed in a filing with the SEC, which is available at this hyperlink. In other news, CFO Glenn Goddard sold 5,365 shares of the company's stock in a transaction on Wednesday, January 3rd. The shares were sold at an average price of $29.46 for a total value of $158,052.9. Following the sale, the chief financial officer now directly owns 40,585 shares of the company's stock, valued at approximately $1,195,634.1. The transaction was disclosed in a legal filing with the SEC, which is available at the SEC website. Also, EVP David Lebwohl sold 5,843 shares of the company's stock in a transaction on Wednesday, January 3rd. The shares were sold at an average price of $29.46 for a total transaction of $172,134.78. Following the completion of the sale, the executive vice president now directly owns 54,372 shares in the company, valued at $1,601,799.12. The disclosure for this sale can be found here. In the last 90 days, insiders sold 32,706 shares of company stock worth $962,177. 3.0% of the stock is currently owned by company insiders. Wall Street analysts forecast growth. Several research analysts recently commented on NTLA shares. BMO Capital Markets reduced their target price on shares of Intellia Therapeutics from $64.0 to $62.0 and set an outperform rating for the company in a report on Friday, November 10th. The Goldman Sachs Group lowered shares of Intellia Therapeutics from a buy rating to a neutral rating and dropped their price target for the stock from $136.0 to $32.0 in a research report on Friday, February 23rd. Raymond James dropped their price target on shares of Intellia Therapeutics from $78.0 to $57.0 and set an outperform rating on the stock in a research report on Friday, November 10th. Oppenheimer dropped their price target on shares of Intellia Therapeutics from $80.0 to $70.0 and set an outperform rating on the stock in a research report on Monday, November 13th. Finally, Royal Bank of Canada dropped their price target on shares of Intellia Therapeutics from $80.0 to $70.0 and set an outperform rating on the stock in a research report on Friday, November 10th. One investment analyst has rated the stock with a sell rating, 4 have given a hold rating, and 12 have issued a buy rating to the company's stock. Based on data from MarketBeat.com, Intellia Therapeutics presently has an average rating of moderate buy and an average target price of $66.93. Intellia Therapeutics profile. Intellia Therapeutics, Inc., a genome editing company, focuses on the development of curative therapeutics. The company's in vivo programs include NTLA 2001, which is in Phase 1 clinical trial for the treatment of transthyretin amyloidosis, and NTLA 2002 for the treatment of hereditary angioedema, as well as for other product candidates, including NTLA 2003 for alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency liver disease, and NTLA 3001 for alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency lung disease, and NTLA 6001 for CD30+ lymphomas.